special All-Star edition of NBA Showtime. Here's your host, Bob Costas.
The Alamo Dome in San Antonio. We're about to cap a wild, almost carnival-like weekend as the East and West get together once again for the NBA All-Star Game. The West won last year in Phoenix. In effect, a home floor for them. Won by 27. Mitch Richmond was the MVP. Grant Hill, Reggie Miller, and others leading the East squad out onto the floor. And on the other side of the Alamo Dome, the Western Conference All-Stars should soon be making their entrance, although not quite yet. But trust us, they'll be here. Hi, everybody. Bob Costas, along with Julius Erving and special guest Magic Johnson. Now, I don't know who should get top billing here. If we go strictly by numbers, 16 All-Star games, ABA and NBA for Doc, 12 for Magic, missed one, actually played in 11, picked for 12, missed one due to injury. They were each the All-Star MVP twice. We will open with the incumbent on this program, Dr. J. Always a special game, a special weekend.
Well, no question about it. You know, all I used to bring to the game was what God gave me, and I tried to get a good night's rest. I think this game will be better than last year's game. Two reasons. One, the presence of Michael Jordan. Two, the coaches. They're both tough, defensive-minded coaches. They're not going to tolerate guys not playing defense. They'll hook a guy in a minute if he doesn't want to try and stop somebody.
All right, Doc. Now, with Magic's return about a week and a half ago, a rare honor featured on the cover of Time, Newsweek, U.S. News and World Report, and Sports Illustrated, somehow missing Ladies' Home Journal and Popular Mechanics, but still a pretty good week, and it's safe to say that had you come back just a bit earlier, you'd be down there instead of up here tonight.
Well, I would love to have been down there, Bob. This is a player's game. This is the game where the players can put on a show for the fans. They want to come down and show them something special, something they haven't seen during the regular season. So you're going to look for some trick plays and some dunks and just a little bit of magic.
But without the Magic in attendance, at least not in uniform. Anything in particular you're looking for?
Yeah, look for the East to get out and run. They want to keep the pace up where they can get Grant Hill, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Penny Hardaway out into the fast break. They're the best open court players in the game today. Look for the West to pound it inside. They want to go to Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Akeem Olajuwon. So look for the East to go fast. Look for the West to go slow.
Ad-lib stuff here, folks. You might have a future as a broadcaster. Like Magic, of course, Michael Jordan came out of retirement, so this is his first All-Star game in 3 years. He's with teammate Scottie Pippen. They're both with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Michael, the West has won 3 of the last 4 All-Star games. Are you ready to put your stamp on this game and not turn this thing over to the young guys?
Yeah, I think it's time for us to get ourselves back on track, especially the East. I mean, it's been a while since we won, and I know from what I've heard in the locker room thus far, no one wants to lose this game.
Now, Michael, you have said during the season that you kind of think that it's Scottie's team, the Bulls. Do you feel as though, while you've been acknowledged as the best player in the world, that maybe Scottie has taken the title?
I think Scottie's shown that he certainly has grown to be a great player in this game. And I think when I said that earlier, I didn't really have any reservations about saying that. I think you know, he's been the leader of this team for the last couple of years, and it was his team. And you know, I'm just coming back to try to help him as much as I can to get us back to where we were.
Scottie, your thoughts on that? Are you ready to take the mantle? Those are awful nice words from Michael.
Oh, they are. They're great compliments coming from one of the greatest players to play the game. And, you know, as I've always said, the guys on this team now has been able to respond to me due to Michael's absence over a couple of years. But, you know, when Michael came back, I welcomed him with open arms. And, you know, I feel like that, you know, we are the sole leaders of this team. And he can say what he wants to. I need his leadership as well.
Scottie, Michael, thank you. Let's leave it this way, Bob. They're the best 2 players in the world. Back to you.
Okay, Jim, thanks a lot. And by the way, more from Michael Jordan at halftime in an extended interview with Dr. J. When we come back on the pregame show, we'll hear from Penny and Shaq, and we'll also take a look back at All-Star Saturday night. Activities were tipped off by the rookies. One of the early choices for Rookie of the Year, Damon Stoudemire, led the East to a 2-point win. The Raptors' point guard had 19 points, 11 assists, and the game's MVP award. The long-distance shootout was next, and Tim Legler of the Bullets showed why he won the CBA's version of this event 2 years ago. He outshot Dennis Scott in the final round for the 3-point crown. And finally, on the 20th anniversary of the old ABA slam dunk contest, Brent Barry of the Clippers electrified the crowd with a slam that was worthy of Dr. J and Michael Jordan. Barry, the new slam dunk champ. Well, Doc, as an old ABA guy myself, how well I remember that foul line skywalk in '76 in Denver. Then a few years later, Michael Jordan equaled it, and now there are 3 with Brent Barry.
No question about it. You know, contrary to reports, I gave Brent a perfect score on that dunk. Now, I look at his game, and I see a little bit of Pistol Pete. I see a little bit of Dr. J. If he could get down the Rick Barry jump shot, this kid is destined to be an all-pro.
If he starts shooting the free throws underhanded, look out. The warm-ups continuing now at the Alamo Dome for the NBA All-Star Game. Down we go to Hannah Storm, who's with the two hometown participants.
And Bob, you were talking about the old ABA days. There hasn't been an All-Star Game here since then in 1975. What kind of a whirlwind has it been for you two hosts, Sean Elliott and David Robinson?
Oh, it's been crazy. I tell you what, the city is just in a buzz. We went out to the Planet Hollywood last night, 110,000 people outside, so it's been crazy.
That's a lot of people, almost, well, quite a bit of the population of the city. Sean, how gratifying is it for you to be named to this team by the coaches? You haven't been an All-Star for 3 years, and to have it happen here in your hometown.
Well, after going to Detroit and having that year, and I knew I had to come back and work hard just to get my reputation back to a decent level. So it feels good. It's an honor whenever the coaches are going to pick you, because those guys study you, they watch the film, so whenever they pick you, it's an honor.
You guys have a terrific game today, and the only strategy listed on the West bulletin board is keys to the game: don't double Shaq. He's standing by now with Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Anna. Now, listen, last year the game was not competitive. You guys got wore out, got beat by 27 points. The West has won the last 3 out of 4, so I figured I'd do my part by instigating.
Well, that was last year. This is a new team. We're better. I think we're going to win this year.
All right, Shaq, you got your work cut out for you. Now, usually you play David or you play Akeem separately. Every time you're going to get a fresh one today.
I'm just going to go out and play hard. We're just going to try to win. Like Kenny said, it's a new team. We got a new bunch of guys, and I think we're going to win today, too.
Now, every time you have come up with a new shot, you've been coming up with new shots almost every other week. You got a new one for today? You do.
I can't tell you what it is.
You're just let us see it. And Penny, you've probably seen it.
I've seen it all the time, but I can't tell you either. I just have to let them bring it out.
We'll sit back and we'll watch.
I'm shooting 5 threes, though.
Let me shoot a 3 and send it back out to Bob.
All right, we'll look forward to that. 5 threes to be attempted by Shaq. Still ahead, more from Magic Johnson and a guy who's playing pretty well of late. There he is, the Suns' Charles Barkley. We'll be back. Moving toward the tip-off at the Alamo Dome, scheduled for 6:37 Eastern Time. For many of you, this might be the first look at Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks, co-rookie of the year with Grant Hill a year ago, presently leading the NBA in triple-doubles. Great open-court player. This kind of game can be a terrific showcase for him. Right now, we go to a guy who lived a dream last year and a guy who is the dream. Clyde Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon with Hannah.
Thanks, Bob. Well, Akeem Olajuwon is right now observing a month-long Muslim fasting feast and has not been able to eat since 5 a.m. this morning. How are you feeling now, and when do you plan on eating? Can you eat during the game at all?
Well, halftime. The good news is we have David and Mutombo on the bench. So I will go out there and do my best and try to think mentally tough. And we'll see more of you in the second half, you think, playing? I hope so. All right, you offered to give your starting spot to David Robinson. Why did you do that? Well, at home, he's definitely a starter, and he deserves to start. Okay, Clyde, almost a year ago to the day that you were traded to Houston, so much has happened to you since the last All-Star game. Can you reflect on the past year a bit? Oh, it's been great. The game is fun. We're happy to be here. We're having a good time, and this should be a fantastic game. Guys, have a great time. Thank you. Have a good meal at halftime. We'll check in with you at the second half. And now over to Jim Gray with their teammate on the west side, Charles Barkley.
Well, I'm with a very comfortable, as usual, Charles Barkley. Charles, usually you use the All-Star game as a platform to jump off a bridge. You've been relatively quiet this weekend, so here's your chance. What do you have that's outrageous today?
Well, I'm just chilling this weekend, relaxing, enjoying the All-Star game. You know, the past is the past. I've had a great weekend.
About the game. Last year it was not very competitive at all. You guys kind of freelanced and it was a free-for-all. Will it be more competitive now because Michael's back?
Well, I think that Coach Carr told us that he felt a little tension from Coach Jackson and other players when they were talking on their press conference. So we're prepared to come out and go at them.
Charles, good to see you. Thank you for not kissing me this year. Back to you, Bob.
Almost choked him there at the end. Charles in a mellow, no controversy mode here. Abbreviated pregame show because we want to show you all the player introductions so quickly as we clear out. Closing thoughts, Doc.
Well, I'll tell you, You guys both know we're in the Alamo Dome, which is a football arena. You probably saw Jim Gray's hair blowing in the wind a little bit. Nobody knows the draft in this building and how to play in it better than David Robinson and Sean Elliott. They probably know where the dead spots are, too. So I look for one of those two to be the MVP today.
Or maybe co-MVPs in the fashion of Stockton and Malone a few years ago in Salt Lake City. Magic.
No. Michael Jordan will be the MVP. I think he wants to come out here and prove something, show the people something that he's still the greatest in the world. Michael Jordan, the MVP.
Magic, thanks a lot. Always a pleasure. Doc back with us at halftime. In fact, he'll have an interview at halftime with Michael Jordan. Time now for us to step aside and let you meet the players for the 46th NBA All-Star Game. Marv Albert, Matt Kukas, and the snapper Steve Jones will call it. We'll see you at halftime. The NBA on NBC continues after these messages from your local station. Enjoy the All-Star Game, everybody.